Everybody's been asking me what kind of traps I'm using when I'm out there catching all these coon. I use 3 traps. That's it. I'm not a big fancy set kind of guy. I don't have a bunch of traps. I keep it simple. That's it. Running and gunning, and that's all I do. Here, 3 traps that I use are 1.5 coil spring. This trap, all I use it for is doing my water sets. When I'm down by a river or creek or anything like that, go along a steep bank, dig a hole, pocket set, dig a little hole in the bank, put my fish in there, set my trap out in front, stake it down, wire to a tree, whatever I got to do, that's it. Running and gunning, I'm out of there. Another trap that I use a lot on the line is the 160 Conibear. This trap right here is awesome, and I use it in trail sets. That's all I use it for. Some guys use it in buckets and they make bucket sets or whatever. I ain't got time and energy to be carrying around a bunch of buckets. So all I do is I put this on an H stand and I set it in the trails. I'll show you how I set this. When I set these 160s, all I do is I set it on the first notch right there. That gives me plenty of power to kill a raccoon. And you can also see I got my trigger bent in an L shape. What that does is it gives that coon a spot to stick his head. When he gets in there, he'll push on that trigger, it'll go off, and it'll catch him right behind the back of the head. That's usually all I got to do, and he's dead laying there in the morning when I come. Like I said, I only use these in trail sets. Like I said, other guys, they got other uses for them, buckets or whatever, but I don't. I use an H stand. A lot of guys, I mean, you don't need an H stand. They'll set this in the trail. They'll bend the springs down like this. They'll put stakes in there and they'll hold it. Not me. Like I said, I use just an H stand. Let me show you kind of what I do here. We're going to go a little more in depth in another video on how we set these in the trails. But I find a coon trail crossing the road or going into a cornfield or whatnot, and let's just say the trail was coming right here, I'd take and I'd set this H stand right in the middle of the trail. Then I push her down until it's just barely touching the ground, that bottom thing. It gives me about a fist distance up. So that makes it for about the perfect height for a coon's head when he's walking. He'll come through there. Now all I would do is I'd grab some grass that's along the ditch there. This does 2 things. It's going to help me camouflage my trap, but it's also going to help me remember to take my safeties off my springs. I bundle up the grass like that and I stick it in the springs just like that. I have another wad, do it on the other side. I try to use as much of the stuff from around the area as I can, so I don't have to carry a whole lot in. Get that. There you go. It's all ready to go. You got this on your trail. Now the coon comes along, he's not going to go around it because that looks solid. He's not going to go over the top because you got a little bit of a bridge here. It's going to go right through. Now, you will have some coon that are going to climb over the top of this. Nothing you can do about it. It's just going to happen. A lot of times, if I got a really nice trail and it's really long, I'll set 2 of these, or even 3 of them. I've had lots of times where I had coon tracks on top of a coon dead in this trap, and they walk right over the top of him to go through the other trap. So that's basically how I set my 160s in my trails. The other trap I use a lot of them, is the dog-proof trap. These are relatively a new concept, I don't know, in the last 5 years. I use the Dukes. They're about 12 bucks a piece, so they're a lot cheaper than the other ones. I go in, I preset all my traps in the evening at the house. Just get the springs compressed, put a piece of 3/4 inch PVC in there, and I'm ready to go. So all I got to do when I get out of the truck and go to set it is put the dog over the top of the spring, push it down, set it, and I'm ready to go. How this thing works and why it's dog proof is we have a trigger that goes through here, goes inside of the trap. I don't know if you can even see down in there, but the trigger's inside there, and it goes through. So what happens is you fill this with bait, and the coon has to come in and actually grab a hold of the trigger and lift it up. When he's lifting it up on the inside, this is coming down. You have the dog of your traps inside that little notch, and as this goes down, allows the trap to fire and this will catch him on his paw. So I'll show you real quick how I set these. Like I said, I do this in trails where I don't have a lot of cover, enough to cover a 160, or I come up to a culvert where the coon are going through the culvert and they're going up over the top of the culvert. What I do is I would wire this to the culvert, set this down right in the middle of the trail, just like that. Take my cat food. All I use is cat food and marshmallows for bait. Take my cat food, fill the trap up. You don't have to get it all in there, some can fall around. And I use marshmallows. A couple things. Coons love to eat marshmallows, they're nice and sweet. Gives it a little extra eye appeal. The other thing that I use, real quick here, grab one, is white styrofoam cup. Stick this over the top of my coon trap, poke a little hole in the top so they know that something's in there. What this does is two things. Gives it eye appeal, and it keeps a lot of the trap thieves from seeing your trap. They just look over, they just think it's a piece of garbage got blown in there and they leave it. But a coon, with these dog-proof traps, you have to be set right on sign, which means, you know, along a river where you're seeing coon tracks, or a trail. If you just set this out, squirt a little fish oil around it, a coon's not really going to come. He's got to be close in order to smell that fish oil and come there. But if it's on a trail, he's going to come, he's going to see this white, it's going to appeal to his eye. It's something different. He's attracted to it. He's going to come over to it. He's going to smell the fish oil. He's going to eat the marshmallows. Be digging down in there. The cup will come off. He's going to go in there and you're going to have him. So cup's not a necessity. It's not going to make or break you. It's just something that I do, and I know a lot of other guys that are doing it. So that's all we do. I just keep everything simple, keep it fast, keep rolling. Just the thing, find sign, set on sign, and you're going to catch yourself a lot of coon, just like I do.